Hi guys, it's Aish. Welcome back to my channel. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching the prison island tour. Today in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about another adventure I did while in Zanzibar. This was the dolphin swimming snorkeling experience at Mnemba Island, and it was my favorite. I think from all the adventures that I had done in Zanzibar, this one was top tier. I'm a very adventurous person. I love nature, I love the water, and this entire activity just covered all of those, and it was just so wholesome. If you're thinking of booking the same adventure as I did, I encourage you to watch this entire video. You could also go to the caption. I have time-stamped different aspects of how this experience went, and you can then pick and choose what you really want to see. Let's get started. The tour was basically booked on TripAdvisor. For those of you who are aware / not aware, let me tell you now, I did this entire holiday all by myself as a solo female traveler. I always go to Get Your Guide or TripAdvisor and try to find these groups that I can join. In this way, A, I'm safe, but B, I also get to meet tourists and travelers from around the world. I think it's always a great way to do this because you also don't feel exactly alone. Just because you're traveling solo doesn't mean you have to feel like you are alone and you're missing out. So I'm gonna be attaching the link of the experience to the bio. When you go on TripAdvisor, usually when you scroll all the way down, you can even see who's a tour operator for that selected experience. And I highly recommend Barnaba Excursions, only because yes, everybody had a boat and they were taking everybody around, but the captains of these boats, they've been trained so well that they consider the marine life before the people on the boat. So whilst they're obviously concerned about our safety and our enjoyment, they don't want to do it at the expense of the dolphins in the water, which I think is top-notch behavior. It already is a little bit dodgy that we have boats and we're chasing dolphins most of the time. I just think it's much nicer that you're considerate about the fact that you don't want to hound over all these dolphins. But all in all, I have to say, fantastic people, very interesting sense of humor, very encouraging, full of energy, but most importantly, they care about the dolphins. So this trip was organized in a certain way. We meet at this beach. It's the Mamma Mia restaurant north of Zanzibar at Nungwi, if I'm saying that right. Once we meet over there, pretty much on time, be very prompt, 8:30 in the morning. You get onto a boat and then you actually first start by looking for dolphins. Then you do some snorkeling and then you end at the Sandbank where you have some fruit. I think this was literally how the tour was promised to us. However, when we got on the boat, we realized that the dolphins were very few. They weren't able to spot that many, and also there were a lot of boats around them. So our tour guide, our captain, his name was Ludo, he basically told us that, hey, let's rearrange this itinerary. Let's first go do the snorkeling, let's go have the fruit, and when we're kind of full, maybe by then we'll be able to spot more dolphins and we'll go to a more secluded area where you guys can actually swim with the dolphins.
We are going looking for the dolphins on the way to Mnemba Island. If we see them now, we'll try to see if we'll be able to swim with them. I'm saying we'll try to see because they are moving, you know. So if they'll be moving too fast, then it will be difficult to swim with them. Or if there will be so many boats there, so we'll skip the activities to another activities, and later on the way back, we'll try to find them again.
So the title of this trip was called Mnemba Island. So I actually thought that we'll be stopping at Mnemba Island, but that actually is not the case. We were snorkeling in the conservation area around Mnemba Island, so where the coral reefs and the aquatic life is. Mnemba Island is actually a private island. Everybody thought it was owned by Bill Gates, but it's not. It's owned by a private company, and therefore you need to obviously book to stay in the resort on the island to get on the island.
The most important question, do you know how to swim?
Yeah.
Okay, we have all swimming equipment in our boat, like mask, snorkel, fins. We have life vests down there. We have life ring. We have water and the fruits as well in the box there.
One of the best investments that I did for this trip was I spent $20 and I got the Barnaba Excursions team to give me a GoPro. Only because I knew I wanted to make this YouTube video and therefore I wanted to get some underwater footage, and the camera that I had by no means was waterproof. Now why this was really good, and you will find out when you see the dolphins towards the end, but apart from that, I also was able to realize some things about myself. Like, I am very horrible at operating a GoPro underwater. I think most of the time I was kind of struggling to get my snorkeling equipment on. So the maximum that I got when we did the dive and the snorkeling for the first part of the experience was just this one fish. So this was basically the Indo-Pacific Sergeant, but there were other fishes. It's just that I wasn't able to film it really well. I did get some really nice like selfie videos of myself, so I don't know. I guess from a vanity perspective, I did really, really well there. But anyways, apologies. There were other fish, but was the snorkeling experience like life-changing? No, especially if you're like a diver, you're used to going even deeper into the ocean. This is just like, it's not overwhelming, life-changing. It's not anything that's, oh my God, I can't believe, you know? So at this stage, it was fun to be in water. It was really nice to like swim and see like the corals and stuff, but it wasn't something that made me go like, oh my God, this was such a great trip. I can't believe it. Everybody I recommend it. I only got to that stage when I got to the dolphins. We then went to a sandbank. So the waters in the sandbank are usually clearer. Like you can see like right through, like it's a blue that is postcard blue, you know, when you're trying to send postcards to people and you kind of show like pristine waters. That was literally how blue that water was. And this was kind of where everybody was doing the most touristy stuff possible, right? So they were just taking pictures, you know, against the island, against the boats. There was like a little monkey for some reason that these guys were like placing on your shoulders for taking photographs. This was also where our man on board, his name was Chidi. So we had Ludo and Chidi, Ludo the captain, and then Chidi is like, I guess, the second in command. He started cutting this fruit for us. It was just really funny the way he was doing it. Zanzibar pineapples are so good. I don't know. I think everywhere that I've had pineapples, maybe August is the season for pineapple. It was so, so good. Nice. Bon appetit. So by this time, we had sort of done, like, I would say half an hour snorkeling, and then we did maybe 45 minutes of the sandbank, and then plus or minus an hour to like travel between all these places. We're sort of like 60% into our trip in terms of a timeline perspective. This is where Ludo's like, hey, let's go find the dolphins. Like we're fed, we're feeling good, let's go find the dolphins. And this is what I'm going to call in this video the pre-experience moment. I think this is kind of where reality kicks in. And a lot of us had this feeling that maybe we were not going to see any dolphins. And I'll explain why. So we're not the only boat that is looking for dolphins, that has travelers on board who want to swim with the dolphins. There are like 25 boats, give or take. And I think they spotted a school of dolphins, which meant there were 4 or 5 dolphins that could be seen on the surface, because they were like doing these partial jumps in one section of the ocean. And all these 25 boats were like barraging in on those dolphins, and then you could see like people jump off the boats and into the water. So our boat decided that it's not going to participate in that. According to Ludo, if all of us like go straight in towards the same sort of number of dolphins, A, they get very aggressive, B, they swim away a lot faster, C, you have also a safety hazard in the sense that, well, A, you could be attacked by the dolphins, but B, you could also be like hit by a boat because there's just so many of them. And at the same time, you probably like run into other human beings because everyone's like jumping into the ocean. So this was us for nearly like an hour. It felt like an hour. Maybe when your waiting time slows down. But I looked at my clock and I remembered it was like 12:45, and I said, no man, there's no ways, because this experience was supposed to end at 1 p.m. I was like, there's no ways they're gonna take us, you know, to other areas to see the dolphins. They're gonna call it quits. They're gonna say, hey, we ran out of time. We have another tour group. You know, sometimes it's nature. You just can't help it. And I was feeling like really, really sad. But the thing is, I was traveling solo and I'm not very good at expressing disappointment. I'm not very good at confrontation. However, there was somebody else on the boat who really was. So there was this chick. She was with her husband, and she literally is like, I can't believe we spent so much of money and all we did was just wait for dolphins. We couldn't even see them on the ocean. Like, what a waste of our money, what a waste of our time. I wouldn't have spent $100. I'm like, sis, we spent $58. But yeah, okay, fine, whatever, right? It was at this stage quite an underwhelming experience, and I agree with her. Like, hey, we've come all the way, we've traveled, and you're just gonna like take us back to the, you know, land. Like, that's not something we wanted. And it was at this time, I think, Ludo realized that, hey, you know what, I'm going to do my best. I do think that the boat captains all talked to each other. They probably got some information that there was another area where there were dolphins. So Ludo now takes us to this other place where the number of dolphins were not like groups, like one group of 4. They were like 10 groups of 4. So there were so many. We were seeing so many of them jumping around. And the number of boats were not 25. They were like 4 or 5. So now there was open water. There was space for us to swim in. And this is where the guy gets all like energized. He's like, you guys ready? We're gonna jump. And all of us got our snorkeling gear on. We dived right into the ocean, and oh my God. I'm gonna show you some videos of all the dolphins that we saw. We managed to capture videos on. Guys, I don't think you understand how it feels to see something that's like so huge just swim by you, in front of you, to your side. You look down, like, oh my God, it was breathtaking. And I was like consistently like so overwhelmed and so happy at the same time. My God. So we ended up doing a total of 7 dives, if I counted right. I think I saw dolphins nearly maybe 5 out of the 7 times. And let me explain why you sort of miss them out. So obviously when you jump in, these are swimmers in the water. They sometimes swim by really fast. So it's very important for you guys to know what to do when you jump into the water, right? So I learned this in my second dive. So first of all, you gotta look where the dolphins are, so you kind of know where you want to look at, and also assume that by the time you jump in and you open your eyes and you look around, they would have progressed in their journey. So if they were in front of you and you jump literally in front of them, the first thing you do, if you quickly look up and you see nothing is there, don't come out of the water, look down because they probably have swum under you. I saw like so many dolphins swimming under me, that's crazy. You also want to just chase them as much as you can, but do it underwater and just go with the flow and don't feel scared that they're going to come bite you, dash you, whatever. These ones were not aggressive dolphins. I think the ones that they take us through are very friendly. Most importantly, they're not being harassed by 1,000 boats, so they're just a lot more chill and calm. You want to hear out for the sonar. You could literally hear them like talking to each other. I think the videos that I have on the GoPro actually captured the sound. It was so beautiful. And at the same time, like, I'm so glad that I invested in that GoPro because we got some fantastic footage. It's like a very, very small amount that you pay, but the kind of visuals that you get, there's actually a visual of me swimming with a dolphin, which I've never had something like that before, you know, in the nature, in the wild. So it was really, really nice. So after all of that, they obviously were like, hey guys, it's time to go home. So we get back, our hearts were full. All of us, we went from complaining and being upset to being so grateful and so delighted that it literally became like the experience of my life. I actually forgot to mention the day I swam with the dolphins was also the day of my birthday. And I have to say, man, best birthday ever. Like, I forgot everybody's existence. It was just me and the dolphins, and oh my God. And before I wrap up this video, I thought I'll just go with a couple of quick tips and tricks, things that I would have done differently that would have probably saved me some energy or some money, which is quite important for us to consider when we're trying to travel, because the idea is to travel as much as possible and have a lot of experiences. If you keep busting your money everywhere, then you probably will have to cut down the next trip a little bit, and that's not something I wish for anyone. So this is what I would have done differently just to sort of save on my time and energy. So I will definitely say this in my Zanzibar overview video, that when you're doing adventures, always make sure you're staying in a hotel that is very close to the space that you want to do your adventure in. So Nungvi was in the north, I was staying at Kwanzaa in the south. And I had to drive 2 hours to get there and then 2 hours back. So apart from spending a lot of money in terms of taxi rides, I'll give you the breakdown in a separate YouTube video altogether on the costs and things I would have done differently. Basically, I actually was like super exhausted, so I couldn't really enjoy the rest of my day because I was so tired between the travel, the diving, and all that work as well. So try to stay close to where your adventure is, because you'll also probably get a pickup, a complimentary pickup from Barnaba Excursions as well. They listed very clearly on their site. So I think just book your stay last, like do all your adventure trips and then book your hotels accordingly. Secondly, what do you wear? So this is 99% you underwater. If you're not going underwater, everybody else on the boat will go on water. So that means you want to have a bag that's waterproof. You want to get that little case that you can put your iPhone in and it's like waterproof. These were things that they were actually selling on the beach. They were like actually selling it at the shore. And there were people paying for it, me included. But yeah, like literally you can buy one of those on Amazon, put your phone inside, so when you jump inside the water, you can actually film it on your iPhone. This is like a good hack in case you don't get the GoPro, but I highly recommend for this trip, pay that $20, take the GoPro. Also want to ensure that you're wearing waterproof shoes, get your goggles. Sometimes if you're uncomfortable wearing like the snorkeling equipment, then maybe goggles is the way to go. A tip that I want to give Barnaba is to like sort of have a very quick tutorial on how to really use the masks, because it had been so long since I snorkeled that I literally did not know what I was doing for like the first couple of dives. So I think that would have been really, really useful. And finally, guys, you jump in the water, you get out of water, you get on a boat, and then the boat starts to move. You're gonna feel so cold. So I would say apart from the towel and the change of clothes, get a change of clothes to just change once after you're done, because the rest of the trip you're gonna be wet. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take 3 or 4 extra towels that you can use to pat yourself dry and then keep yourself warm. If there's anything in the space that's waterproof, educate me, let me know, because this would be something that I would definitely look at getting into when I'm doing more water adventures like this. So that was that, guys. I hope you enjoyed this YouTube video. I have to say the video does no justice to the actual experience. This trip has ignited the fire in me to go get a diving certification. I felt that marine life is so beautiful and there's just so many animals that I haven't met yet, and it's just something that I want to do. If you're doing Zanzibar and you love water, you love nature, you cannot miss this one. Please go to my captions, see all the links, ask me any questions. If you want people's numbers, I could possibly drop you an email so you can get you acquainted. But these guys are phenomenal and this experience was out of the world. Thank you so much for watching this video, and watch the other videos on my Zanzibar trip that will all be up in the Zanzibar playlist. Till then, take care and have a great day.